This is the new BMW i3. No, not that one. This is the first all-electric 3 Series saloon. So the 3 Series, you don't need me to tell you, has been a massive seller for BMW. It's basically the car that keeps the lights on for them. And to celebrate its 50th birthday, BMW is betting that its most important model can go electric without losing the secret sauce that makes this the car of choice with executives the world over. So shall we find out if those business drivers are in for an electric shock or not? Yes, let's. Welcome to Electrifying.
We've already seen the car that started BMW's electric reinvention, the iX3. We've explored it, driven it, and we're impressed. So impressed, in fact, it is our current car of the year.
With that in mind, you will be happy to hear that the i3 Neue Klasse follows that same game plan. Like that car, it promises to be a 500 mile plus powerhouse that can recharge in around 20 minutes and is powered by AI. And we also expect that it will cost less than the current BMW i4. All sounds impressive, doesn't it? But of course, there's more to car buying than the technology. Looks are pretty important too. So let me cast your mind back to the shark-nosed Vision Neue Klasse concept, which showcased the design elements that would define all BMWs going forward by 2025. Yes, that one with the geography teacher-inspired yellow corduroy interior, that one. That car that massively divided opinion in the comment sections the world over. Personally, I really loved it. And as you can see, BMW clearly did too, because look, there's definitely a resemblance. If you look at it, this car, side by side, with the current 3 Series saloon, which you should be able to do right here now, I think this looks like it's skipped a generation. How about you? What do you make of it? Drop us a comment and let us know. Okay, let's have a proper look at the design, shall we? So, I think it's more elegant than previous BMW 3 Series designs. Size-wise, it's slightly longer and taller than the current 3 Series, but the big story is a wider stance and a longer wheelbase, which means more cabin space and potentially a bit more stability, which bodes really well for driving. Okay, big change officially is here at the front. This is the new BMW face. You'll see this across all the electric models eventually. As you can see, there is less grille and less chrome and more light. And many of you may think that is a good thing. I certainly do. Yeah, the chrome has been replaced by LED lighting. You see, chrome isn't that environmentally friendly, and BMW has put loads of work into reducing the overall manufacturing emissions of its electric cars, and I'll be telling you more about that later. So if you look down here, you can see in this panel here, you've got all the sensors and the camera that are hidden there in the centre. From memory, if it's like the iX3, there should be a small pop-out unit that comes out to clean them, but who knows, this is an early prototype. Underneath that you get a lower grille that can open and close to cool the battery and help with aerodynamics. I really like the narrow illuminated kidneys. They, I think, will be part of an options pack. If it follows the playbook of the iX3, you get, I think from memory, like just a glass panel across there. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, they're going to be an option. But yeah, I like it. I think it looks a bit more subtle than we've seen in the past. What else to tell you? Oh yeah, come round to the side. As you can see, we've got, so there are lightweight 20 alloys as standard. You can spec up to 22. I don't even need to look, I'm guessing these will be 22s because it's the show car, because of course they are. You've got pop-out handles, because aero. Really nice lines along here, and I do really like this colour. It's one of the launch colours. It's a new colour called Le Castellet Blue. Le Castellet, an area in the south of France, which is home to the Paul Ricard circuit, so no doubt named after that. But come and have a look at this, because the Hofmeister kink is back, yeah. If you don't know what the Hofmeister kink is, let me explain. It's that little angle there across the rear window. It's a bit of BMW, design stuff from the past. It's named after their design director from the 50s and 60s. It's a signature shape. You know it's a BMW before you even see the badge if you see that shape in the window, and it is back. So that's the Hofmeister kink. Round at the back, you can see it's a bit shorter at the end. It sort of blends into the cabin, and I think this is another area where you can really see across the lights here the similarity with the concept car, with that Neue Klasse concept. And while I'm here at the back, the exciting news is that there will be a touring version of this coming down the line, which makes me very happy. So come on, what do you think of the design? Let us know in the comments below. Inside, sadly, there is no yellow corduroy. You get a choice of 4 rather more sedate moods. That's what BMW calls them, by the way, not me. This one is called white Vaganza, which makes me laugh. Vaganza just sounds like it should be a rude word. Anyway, that's what they're calling it. But you can see that elements like the squared off steering wheel from the Neue Klasse concept are here. Saw that in the iX3, of course. And as with that car, you can spec a more traditional one if you want. But why would you? Because I think it looks fabulous, and I love the 12 o'clock spoke and all the steel. I really like where BMW is going in here with its design. I like how clean and pared back and minimal it feels a bit less aggressive. And because the i3 Neue Klasse has designed to be electric from the ground up, they've had more space to play around with, and I think you can feel that in here. Again, as with the iX3, operating controls have been reduced to a minimum. Most of the functions are controlled through the central display, and you've got multifunction buttons on the steering wheel with little haptic touch sliders, which actually are really nice. The old binnacle has gone, as has that iDrive rotary controller, which feels like it's been in BMWs forever. Buttons and switches, I've got to say, are not part of the vibe anymore, which I know won't suit all of you. But I do wonder, is it part of a master plan to start selling switches and buttons as optional extras down the line? Better not give them any ideas. Look, having driven the iX3, I know it hasn't got all those switches, but it is quite intuitive, this system. You've got all your climate controls there along the bottom, which are easy to access, and the voice control is also pretty good. And it's also going to get Alexa, so that should be in this car by the time it launches. It's a revised, latest version of Alexa, and it will use AI to, get to know how you phrase questions, remember the things you've asked before. A bit like having a friend in the cockpit with you, or maybe a slightly creepy stalker. I'll leave you to decide on that one. Anyway, let's talk more about BMW's technology. Again, like the iX3, there's a high-tech new interface called BMW Panoramic Vision. As you can see, it projects a display right across the width of the windscreen. It can be seen by everyone in the car. What I really like about this screen is that you can move widgets from this central display and just flick them up and they appear in it, so you can set it up how you like. Can't show you how it works at the moment because this is a really early pre-production car, so all the technology isn't working yet. But hopefully we'll put a little bit of me using it in the iX3 so you can see how easy it is. And then again, you do have some controls just down here for volume and immediate maximum climate control functions. There are a few buttons there, but as you can see, it's mainly a button-free zone. So that's basically your technology. As for everything else in here, you've got this open central console. It's quite narrow down there, but quite handy for keeping your bits and bobs in. You've got a couple of wireless charging pads. This one's actually got one of those mag chargers on, which I've not seen in a car before actually. Somebody will correct me, no doubt, in the comments below. A couple of cup holders, smallish compartment there. Storage isn't to a maximum in here, but it's absolutely fine for the car of this size. But let's give a shout out while we are here for the pano roof, which is a thing of beauty. Optional extra, of course, but you would want it, wouldn't you? Because it looks great. I also like the frameless mirror. It's looking very Swedish.
As you'd expect, tech is strong. Your phone works as the key, you get loads of apps including streaming services, and yes, you can even take your Zoom calls while you're parked.
But what really moves the game on for BMW is the technology. And I've used a pick and mix analogy in previous videos to explain what makes it special, and I will use it again now. So, car makers often take a pick and mix approach to engineering their cars. Software from one company, motors from another, you get the idea. But now BMW is designing and building everything itself, hardware and software together, a bit like Apple does with the iPhone. So what does that mean in practice? Well, for the first time, BMW's powertrain driving dynamic software run by a single brain, the whole thing. Under the skin, there are 4 different high-performance computers. BMW calls them superbrains. They cover driving dynamics, the ADAS systems, the infotainment, and then all the comfort systems. Now, by doing it that way, the systems communicate with each other in a quicker way, and they're smarter about how they react. And it also means that BMW has got total control over how the car feels. I've already driven the iX3 with this technology, as I said, and I do think it's impressive when you feel it all come together behind the wheel. If you haven't already, check out that video because it's here on the channel. The only downside I've come across with this system is that BMW has decided to call it the Heart of Joy, which sounds like a really bad self-help book. And incidentally, the control unit which manages the electric powertrain is called the Power Master, which sounds like a brand of power tools. Naming is not a strong point, but the tech itself are very impressive.
469 horsepower, 2 motors and 4-wheel drive. That's the launch car, the i3 50X Drive. BMW has been a bit coy about the performance figures, but with that much power, it should be punchy. More versions will follow: a single motor efficiency model, cheaper, smaller battery cars, and of course a full-fat M version. Underneath, it's proper BMW chassis engineering. A suspension designed to stay comfortable over small bumps but firm up when you're pushing on. You can also spec adaptive M suspension. And the motor setup is quite clever. The rear motor does most of the work, while the front one only joins in when you need extra grip or a shove of acceleration. So you get all-wheel drive when it matters, without wasting energy the rest of the time. BMW says the new design is lighter and loses 40% less energy than before.
Now bear with me, I'm going to take my boots off for this because they're stupidly high and it's really hard to show you what it's like in the back with the mum, so there we go. Right, okay, the driving position is set for one of the camera assistants here in the studio. In his words, his driving position is brutal. So it's a brutal driving position. It is really far back. Legroom is actually okay. What I would say though is that the scoop under the seats isn't that generous for you to scoop your feet under. So while I'm comfy at 5'4" and I've also got enough headroom, I do think taller passengers are not going to be that comfortable in the back here. However, having said that, it does feel nice and wide. It's got slightly wider stance, and you can feel that in here. It's got a good shoulder width. Nice flat floor, of course, because it's a dedicated platform. Couple of charging ports. This Veganza, the word makes me laugh. This Veganza colour wouldn't last 2 minutes in my house, so I wouldn't be opting for this. I think generally it does feel slightly cramped in the back here. That's because though of that lovely slippery shape, and with that you're going to get increased aero and more range, so it's a trade-off, isn't it? Too early really to talk about the quality of the materials because this is a really early pre-production car, but you know, as you'd expect from a BMW, everything seems fine. Right, put my boots back on. See you in a minute. I can't show you in the boots because it doesn't open because it's a concept car. No boot, no frunk, but there will be on the version that you can buy. We hope.
Now, BMW hasn't revealed prices yet, but the new Neue Klasse platform is designed to be more efficient to build, and the iX3 actually now costs less than the previous car, so we do expect the i3 to be competitive with the big hitters in the class, Tesla's Model 3 and the Polestar 2.
Okay, let's dig into what the Energy Master gets up to and talk batteries and range and charging. So like its SUV sibling, the i3 gets a new battery design. It uses cylindrical cells. You've got to think oversized AAA batteries, then you can visualize it. And what this new pack does is give 20% more energy, which of course translates into more range. So BMW has also this time around integrated the battery directly into the car's structure underneath, rather than treating it as a separate block. So that saves space, it reduces weight, and it also boosts rigidity, all of which improves how the car drives. And as I said, the iX3 is impressive behind the wheel, and this should be even more fun to drive. Now, as I'm filming this, which rather bizarrely is in November 2025, we don't know the range yet, but the iX3 manages around 500 miles from a lithium-ion NMC battery with 108 kilowatts of usable capacity. If we have more details by the time we edit this video, they will appear here or here on the screen in graphics. If there is a figure here on the screen which is higher than 500 miles, that will be because, as I said, this is a lower car, more slippery, it's lighter with better aero. So I would expect that you're seeing a high figure on the screen, and that is brilliant, isn't it? Let's face it. 500 miles, anything above that is incredible, because it doesn't seem 2 minutes since we were getting really excited about electric cars that had 300 miles. Bless us for that. Now, all i3s are built around BMW's new 800 volt electrical system. That's the real high performance end of EV charging technology. So that means faster, more efficient charging. Peak charging, are you ready for this? It is up to 400 kilowatts. In theory, that means you can go from a 10 to 80% charge in 20 minutes. I mean, that's hardly enough time to nip to the loo and grab a coffee, is it?
The charging flat will open automatically as you approach a charger, using AI to learn your habits, which may sound useful or slightly stalkerish depending on your point of view. AC charging is 11 kilowatts as standard, with 22 kilowatts optional, and of course you get vehicle to load, so the i3 can act as a mobile power bank for appliances or devices. It's also ready for vehicle to home and vehicle to grid, and if all that sounds a bit technical, we've got loads of explainers on that kind of stuff over at electrifying.com.
Now, we're talking a lot about sustainability and electric cars at the moment, which we think is a good thing. Now, that's not least because the UK government is factoring in a car's overall carbon footprint into which cars are eligible for its electric car grant. To be honest, it's an approach that we've championed for a while at Electrifying. We have a Green Hero Award, which we give to brands which look beyond the tailpipe emissions, looking at the overall manufacturing emissions. The BMW iX3 is already a holder of that award, and I would expect that this car will win one too. Around a third of it is made from recycled materials. Supply chain emissions, they're about 42% lower than they were before. And those new cylindrical battery cells have a much smaller carbon footprint than the previous generation. And I think it's just really encouraging to see a brand like BMW taking that whole life cycle approach. So there you have it, the new i3. That's everything we know about it at the moment. You know, I think it's quite hard to overstate how much this car moves it on for the 3 Series and for BMW generally. And I can't wait to drive it. Look, I've already experienced the iX3, as I said, and knowing how well that drives and also how well the BMW i4 drives, which isn't built on a dedicated electric platform like this, well, that means I've got really high hopes for this. And we will be driving it before the year is out, so if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel, switch your notifications on, and let us know what you think of this in the comments below. Is BMW nailing it or not?